Hello everyone, my name is Manveen Pratap Singh, roll, roll number G24 AI 2123. So I currently presenting the assignment 3, in which we have to create a local VM and auto scale it to the any public cloud platform when the resource exceeds 75% in the local machine. So I have completed the report, so you can see this one. So the syllabus are source codes I need to present, video demo, the demo I am going to present here, and that I need to paste it here. So this is the prerequisite I required steps. We also need to define all the steps, so I have defined all the steps. Some screenshots you need to involve the code that we are following, the folder structure in the VM, the architecture. This is also a deliverable part by the professor. So this is the architecture. So I have created scripts to manage and check the thresholds, and if the thresholds call, then we will call the deployment to AWS, and then I will explain everything this slow, just completing this one. Need to define the parallelism, what I have copied, and then my declaration. Now coming back to how I am achieving this one. So first just let's visit on the code part. So the code that I have mentioned, so it's under my IITJ folder. I have pasted everything here. So this is assignment 3. So I have created script files for auto scalings. You can see the codes. This is about a file that is executed the first time. This is our monitoring script that monitored the uses of the CPU and the memory. It also printed that uses. You can see that's printed, and it also trigger when the CPU is reaching the threshold that we have taken 75. CPU or memory, anyone is taking the threshold, it will trigger the cloud, and the cloud is there, the complete instance. So you have created, this is our instant ID of AWS that I am using, instance type. So I am taking micro security groups in which I have added securities. So all the IDs, the configuration part is here, and it also clone the code from the IITJ materials, and then move the folders accordingly. So this is the auto scaling. This is my auto scaling code, and this is the services that we have. I have all previously mentioned. So to achieve this, our prerequisite is VirtualBox. I need to create the VirtualBox. So I'm using Mac M4. So I'm creating VirtualBox, and then I download the Ubuntu ISO image, EC2 instance, and the code published on the Git, so that I can check out on the EC2 and the VM both. Step first, we need to create a VirtualBox that we have already created in the assignment 1 and 2. Create a local machine. The configuration we have already explained. You can check out my previous video for on the assignment 2, where how we are creating a virtual machine, giving all the configurations. Then the main part, this is also the configuration part of the VM. Here credentials installing and everything of the AWS. Now configuration AWS on the AWS, then taking a pull from my clone from my code, and you can see the code part. Then you will see the folder structure like this. We have already seen that one in the Git. We have go to folder auto scaling and run the monitoring app. Monitoring app executed. Then if the threshold is reaching 75%, I can also explain this one. So this is the monitoring. It monitor the CPU and memory uses. As you see in the codes, when it reaches the 75%, that it will deploy on the CWI, and then our EC2 instance will trigger. Docker will create a Docker image that we are creating, and our Flash API is now hosting on the EC2 instance public API with the port 80. Is the flow complete? uh, this is all for the explanation part. Now back to the how we have achieved this one. Now back to the AWS, where we are configuration our AWS setup, how we are like what configuration I have showing on the code is done first here. So as we selected Ubuntu here, so I have just given Ubuntu, and this is the image ID you can see. So I have posted this image ID from here, and then we selected the same configuration that we have in my code. You can see the same configuration, the same image ID I have mentioned also here. Then now selecting the type, so type we have selected, you can say micro T2, then the same type we have selected here, we need to mention in the code also. Then key name, you can select from the drop down, and we need to configure same key there also. Then this is an important part, we are discussing on the code review part. So security, so we are now you can go on the network security option, and you need to create a new security group, or you can use the previous security groups that are created by any other provided by AWS and any other platform also. So that's that's the configuration parts we have done. So in the same that we have configuration in AWS, that we need to use on the code file itself for deploying our code. Now opening the our VS instance, then we need to get the checkout from our code. Now we need to check out our code and run the monitoring file. So you can see on the architecture, the monitoring file is used to monitor the CPU users and the memory users. So the service is running on my VM. You can see the CPU users increases from 3%, memory 30%, then CPU 4.3 and memory 30%. And when it it reaches the threshold, the AWS deployment will auto trigger, and it will move on the AWS instance. So you can see the CPU users process reach the 100%. We have done in the manually in the service. Now threshold is exceeding, and instead now you can see the threshold, after the threshold increases, our deployer triggered, and the service moved from a local VM to the AWS, as you can see, and it fetches from the all the configurations from AWS that we have written in the deployed.py file, and it executing everything written. Also apply the set configurations, securities and everything, and now it's moving. After everything done, you can say that verified check, download complete, pull complete. So it is taking the pull from the code that we have mentioned, so the same git repo in the deployment. And after that, when everything is done, it will execute the same code on that VM, or you can say on the public API. So this is not for the only from one VM to public VM, it's one from VM from another VM also. So this is a great learning by doing this one. You can see auto script completed, and we just see the ID also. You can also check on the AWS portal that our service is moved on the AWS and it's running. So that's it from the for my assignment number 3. You can check out the code. I have also pasted the code link in the assignment file. here, and feel free to comment on the my video about how we are scaling after the threshold from one VM to public VM or one VM to another VM, you can say. Thanks for watching.